Hey guys, thank you very much for joining again. Today's topic will be a bit specific because it will be about nostrification, apostille, and superlegalization, which are kind of connected to each other. Those are also very important topics and also very confusing topics. But they're basically part of, besides nostrification, apostille and superlegalization are basically part of every visa process you encounter in the Czech Republic. So it's a very important topic, and I wanted to touch that topic as well. So let's jump right into it. So, nightmare for many students and most school administrators, nostrification of your foreign education. This is something we deal with very often, and it can get often very complicated, especially if you're new to the Czech Republic and you have to do this on your own, because the process is kind of no, it doesn't make sense in a way if you've never encountered that. But what it is, nostrification is basically a recognition of your education which you got outside of the Czech Republic. So it's recognition in the Czech Republic. Basically, making sure that your education, for example, in the US or in India or in Australia is equal to the same level of education you would get in the Czech Republic. So let's say you have a high school in India, and nostrification is process of comparing if your education in India, your high school education in India, is equal to the same high school education in the Czech Republic. And there is some process behind it. There are basically two types of nostrifications, let's say. One is for high school diplomas and one is for university diplomas. The high school diploma recognition is in a way simpler because you just need to collect all the required documents, submit them to one authority, and wait for the result. It can get complicated. I will get more into details in a second, but that's like in theory a simpler thing. Recognition of your or nostrification of your university degree is a bit more complicated because you first need to find an equal program at some Czech university and submit all the documents there and then wait for the result. So those are very similar but still a bit different processes. So let's go through that in details now, and then I will go to apostille and superlegalization. So now, recognition. Okay, nostrification or recognition of your high school diploma in the Czech Republic. How it works is that you collect some documents, you submit them to the regional authority responsible for the place where you live. So if you live in Prague, you submit it to the magistrate, to the city hall in Prague, in Jungmanova Street. If you live in some other area of the Czech Republic, you submit it at the local district authority, town hall. And then you wait for the result, and then there can be three outcomes. Either you get the nostrification, or you need to take some additional exam, or you get the nostrification denied and your diploma will not be recognized in the Czech Republic. So those are the basic steps, and let's go through the documents needed for the nostrification now. First is the application form, which you fill in hand, and it's slightly different for each of all of the authorities. So you first need to know what authority you go to, which is based on the place of your, where you live in the Czech Republic. And if you still don't live in the Czech Republic, you don't have any official address in the Czech Republic, you can go to any regional authority, submit it there, and then the Ministry of Education will decide where you belong to. But in general, you go to the one which is responsible for the place of your residence in the Czech Republic, and you submit it there, and you need to get their own application form. You fill it in. That's not too complicated. Then you need to have apostilled or superlegalized diploma from the country of your origin, or where you got the diploma, actually. I will be talking about the nostrification, about the apostille or superlegalization in a bit, so I'll get to it later, but it needs to be done at the diploma. And the diploma also needs to be officially translated into Czech. It must be a court translation. And then you need to have proof that your school is recognized in the country where the school is located. So if you have a diploma from India, you need to have a confirmation that the school in India is an official school in India, recognized by the local Ministry of Education or something similar. In most cases, this is obvious from the diploma you submit. So in that case, in most cases, you don't need to do it. But especially if it's some smaller school in some small district somewhere far away, then it might be needed to get some special confirmation that the school is recognized. I believe I've seen it once, the request once in 11 years, so it's not really common, but it can happen. I've seen that happen. That the ministry wanted some proof that the school was really like accredited school or a real school in the country, and that can sometimes be complicated because the school might not exist anymore. But anyway, that's how it is. Then you need to have 1,000 crowns application fee. You need to obviously have your passport, and you need to have the proof of address in the Czech Republic. That's to determine what authority is responsible for your nostrification. If you don't have any address, as mentioned, you can take it to any authority, and then the Ministry of Education will decide who will be responsible for that. That's it. Basically, that's not too many documents. Then you submit it, and then you wait. Officially, the town hall has 30 days to make the decision, 60 in complicated cases. But in real life, it can take like way longer. It can take like a couple months to just get the result or some instruction what else you need to do. And what else you need to do can be, or there can be a couple results, let's say. First result is that you get the nostrification approved. In that case, the local authority sends you an official letter with an official, like, let's say, diploma-like thing, saying, okay, we confirm that this education you got in that country is recognized in the Czech Republic and is equal to the education you would get in the Czech Republic if you studied here. So that's the hooray, hooray, and that's the best outcome. Sometimes it happens, but especially if you're from some faraway country, let's say, or country Czech Republic doesn't have like good relationship, let's say, then it might get pretty complicated, and you might get to the second possible outcome, and that is that you will need to take a nostrification exam. That basically means that because what is happening at the town hall is that they compare the subject you had and subjects you would have for the same education in the Czech Republic, and they compare like how many hours you had and if it's similar to what you would have here. So if you, for example, had 10 hours of math in the mathematics in your country or where you got the diploma, but you would have like 50 hours of mathematics for the same education in the Czech Republic, very likely you will need to do a nostrification exam from mathematics in the Czech Republic because you had significantly less hours of mathematics than you would have in the Czech Republic. So you can do exam from one subject, or you can do exam even from couple subjects. The tricky part about that is that the exam is in Czech. So you're usually getting nostrification when you're moving here, especially to study a university in the Czech Republic. But if your diploma cannot be directly recognized, you need to take a Czech exam from this some kind of subject like mathematics or physics or something. So that can be pretty complicated, but that's how it works. So that's the second outcome, and then it depends, of course. If you pass the exam, you get the nostrification. If you don't pass the exam, question is if you can take it again, or if it's denied, or like how long it will take. Because also the exam dates are not like you can go tomorrow. And anyway, even if you could, you probably should not, because you will not know what you need to know to pass the exam. So if you are to do the exam, it will extend the duration of the nostrification process very significantly. But it's still a good outcome, because if you pass the exam, then everything is good and you'll get the nostrification. Another scenario, though, is that your education will not be recognized and you will not get the nostrification. In that case, you, in theory, have 15 days to appeal the decision to the Ministry of Education. But the question is how, like, of course, you have nothing to lose. You've been already denied. So if you make an appeal, you can only gain. So do that. That's for sure. But, if it was denied, unless you have some like very serious reasons or doubts about the competence of the person who made the decision or something like that, then the chances that you will get it recognized after an appeal is not really high, in my opinion. So, but anyway, do that because you have nothing to lose, as I mentioned. Either you accept the fact that your education will not be accepted in the Czech Republic at all, or you make an appeal. So it doesn't hurt for sure. So that was the recognition or the nostrification of the high school diploma. You can also do the nostrification of your university diploma, and the process works in a similar way. The difference just is that first step is finding a university which offers a similar university program which you went through. So let's say you studied bachelor's in software development. So you would need to find a school or university which offers a software development program in the Czech Republic. And then you take all these documents like your diploma and the transcript, again, apostilled or superlegalized and officially translated into Czech, and you send it to the chosen university. You pay the fee, which is higher, it's 3,000 crowns, and you wait for the result. Then they do the same process. They compare your subject and the amount of hours you had for the subject at your university and what you would have in the Czech Republic for the same type of education. And if they match, they give you the nostrification, and you can use the diploma in the Czech Republic, or it's recognized here as equal to the Czech education. If they don't recognize it, the difference there is that you could appeal it, but it usually makes no sense. But what you can do is that you find another school, a different university offering the similar program, and you send it there. So you can try like many universities or as many universities as you want. So that's actually a bit better than the high school diploma nostrification, because there is only one authority you can go to, and if it's denied, it's denied. So this is it. Again, the university diploma, the process should be pretty fast, officially within 60 days, but in real life, it doesn't work like that. You can wait for that many months and even like many months. So definitely start the process as soon as you can. Don't wait until your visa is approved. Don't wait until the very last moment. Start like half a year in advance, and that will be then beneficial for you. If you leave it for the last moment, as I talked about it in some of the previous videos, if you leave the things like this for the very last moment, it can be very difficult for you. Okay, so those were the nostrification rules. So maybe let's just go through the list of documents needed for your nostrification of the high school diploma one more time. So it's an application form which you get from the local authority where you're submitting the application. Then you need to have your passport. You need to have the original diploma plus the list of subjects, which need to be, both of those documents need to be apostilled or superlegalized and officially translated into Czech. Then you need to have a confirmation that your school is really a school in the country where the diploma was issued. But that only applies if the diploma doesn't mention it, if it's not obvious from the diploma itself, but it's usually mentioned there. So in most cases, you don't need this. You need 1,000 crowns administrative fee. You need a proof of address in the Czech Republic. If you don't have any, it's still doable, but it's better to have one. And your passport, I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's basically it. Then you wait 30 to 60 days, and most likely you will not get the decision anyway. But if you do, then it might be one of the three outcomes. Either the nostrification has been granted and approved, and you're good. Your education is officially equal to the one you would get in the Czech Republic. Or second, it's similar, but it's not really equal. So you will need to pass some nostrification exam from one or more subjects in Czech. And if you pass it, you will get the nostrification. If you don't pass it, then meh. And the third outcome is that the nostrification will be denied directly, because the difference between the program you studied abroad and the program you would study in the Czech Republic is very significant, and they will never give you the nostrification. You can appeal the decision within 15 days, but and do that, of course, obviously do it. You have nothing to lose, but that's a bad outcome. Okay, so, and let's now go to the apostille and superlegalization processes. But guys, if you, I can only see YouTube now here, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I cannot see them there on Facebook because I'm using the back camera with the higher quality. So if you're commenting, if you're asking any questions, please stay with me until the end. I will reply them, but or I will reply them under the video when I post it in my Facebook group, Expats in CZ Help and Support group. But I cannot see it now, unfortunately. So it's a bit different than normally when I can interact right away. Okay, and now another confusing yet very important topic is called apostille. What it means is it's also kind of recognition or certification, legalization of your foreign document in the Czech Republic. So, for example, if you need to get a criminal check from the country of your origin, Czech authorities do not really have a way of checking if the document you present to them is a real document or if it's just something you printed at home on your printer and you're bringing it pretending that it's the real document. So there is like an internationally recognized way of legalizing documents, which is so-called apostille. And that means that there is an authority in the country where the document was issued, which will put there an internationally recognized stamp, or it's a sticker, usually saying that we confirm that this document is real, genuine document from this country, and you can use it internationally. This apostille sticker has some like given rules, and it needs to follow some procedures. So whenever you do this to a document, whenever you put the apostille on the original document, it really makes it legal in all the other countries which agreed to use the apostille, and you can use it internationally, and the Czech authorities can actually verify this document. So how to, like, to give you an idea how it all works. This is, for example, a Mexican criminal check. So this is the original documents with the stamps and signatures and everything, okay? But if you brought it just like this, it would not really be useful because it's just a piece of paper. So what you need to do is put the apostille sticker on that. And the apostille sticker is this thing, okay? So it has some rules. I'm sorry you're seeing the light here. But anyway, it always must be square. It always must say apostille here. And there always must be this one sentence written in French, which I cannot read because I don't speak French, but it's Convention de la Haye du 5th October 1961. I don't know. That's like the name of the convention which was signed, and that always must be there. In most cases, in most countries, it's really a sticker like this, round sticker. In some countries, like for example, in the US, where everything is different, they usually don't do stickers. They attach like an extra piece of paper and they staple it to the original. But also it should still be kind of round, even though it's like a full page document, it should still be round. It still needs to include the same information to make it official. So that's how it looks like. You take the original document, you take it to a special authority in the country where the document was issued, and they put there the apostille. And only once this is done, you can use the document internationally. What you also need to do if you want to use it in the Czech Republic, you need to get the document officially translated. It must be a Kurt translation. It cannot be just your friend who speaks Czech who translates that, but it needs to have all these ribbons and like these round stamps and everything. It's just an official Kurt translation. And once you have a document like this, the original document, the apostille, and the official translation into Czech, only then you can use the document in the Czech Republic for any official purposes, such as applying for a visa, applying for a residence permit, I don't know, getting a trade license and stuff like that. So this basically applies to all the documents which were issued outside of the Czech Republic and are somehow official documents. So for example, if you get a bank statement from your bank, no one will put an apostille on that because bank is a private institution. So it cannot be apostille. Documents from a bank cannot be apostille because no one will the official authorities in that country where the document was issued will not put an apostille on that. There is a reason for that, but I don't think I need to go much into details. But for all the official documents issued by some official authorities in the country of origin of the document, for example, marriage certificates, birth certificates, diplomas, high school diplomas, university diplomas, or criminal checks, all those can be apostilled by a special authority. If you don't know where to find those authorities, get in touch. I'll be happy to explain everything. We have a list of all the authorities in all the countries who are or which are part of the apostille, the convention of the Hague Convention. It's already too late for me. Sorry, guys. It's like 8 o'clock, so my brain is already like destroyed after the whole week. So it's Hague Convention, the Convention de la Haye, or whatever it's called in French. And only those countries which agreed on using the apostille have authorities which are allowed to put the apostille on the original document. But there are some countries, and what is interesting, like most countries, and especially like developed countries, they all agreed to using the apostille because it's a simple thing. You have the original document, you put one sticker on it, and that's it. So it's a very simple procedure. In some countries, it can take a long time to get the apostille done. But for example, in the Czech Republic, it's a matter of 1 day. In most countries, it's like 2-3 days tops. Some countries, again, for example, the US, especially now during COVID, it sometimes took them like 6 weeks to issue the apostille. But that's just differs country from country, and in the US also state from state. But in general, it's a very simple procedure. But there are still some countries which did not agree to sign the Hague Convention and who need to go, or whose citizens need to go through a bit more complicated process to recognize documents for international use. And a bit more complicated process is so-called superlegalization, which is also a recognition of or legalization of the foreign document for an international use. But it's a bit more complicated than the apostille because the country which needs apostille for their documents didn't sign the Hague Convention. And how it works with the superlegalization is that you need to, for example, let's say this is a Canadian document, because Canada is one of the countries which do not agree with the apostille and make their citizens' lives more complicated for some reason, I guess. I don't know. So if this was a Canadian criminal check, you cannot just go to an apostille authority and put a sticker on that because there is no apostille authority in Canada because they didn't agree, they didn't sign the convention. So what you need to do is that you will go to a different authority. You will go, for example, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you will get a similar sticker or a stamp or just some confirmation that the document is a genuine Canadian document. And then you need to take this document, the original document with the original stamp of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you need to take it to the Czech embassy in that country. So in this example, to a Czech embassy in Canada. And then the Czech embassy will confirm that the stamp confirming that the document is real. Okay, so it's basically one step more complicated than the apostille. If you need to get the apostille done, you just take the original document to a special authority, you get the apostille sticker on it, that's it, you can use it. In the superlegalization process, you need to take the original document, get it stamped by some higher authority in the country of the origin of the document, and then you need to take the whole package to Czech embassy in that country and get it superlegalized in there. So that's a bit more complicated. And just to give you an example, for example, Canada is really one of the, I think the only developed country which doesn't sign which hasn't signed the Hague Convention. So you still need to use the superlegalization. And if you want to do it from the Czech Republic, the whole process, for example, we often deal with criminal checks because we do plenty of business visas and trade licenses. We have like hundreds of cases a year. And many of our clients are Canadians. If you don't bring the criminal check with the superlegalization from Canada with you when you're moving to the Czech Republic, and you want to do it from the Czech Republic, it will take you like 2 months and it will cost you 20,000 crowns at least. because the process is very complicated. It needs to go through many steps and to many authorities. So it's a very expensive mistake if you make it and if you come to the Czech Republic without holding the diploma with the superlegalization. But yeah, that's how it is. So that's why we exist, why visa advisors, like good ones as Move to Prague, exist. And we make sure that you don't make mistakes like that will cost you like 20,000 crowns. Okay, so that was the official part. Of course, if you need help with the nostrification, if you need help with the apostille, if you need help with the superlegalization, get in touch. We'll be happy to help you both with the foreign documents which you want to use in the Czech Republic, and also with Czech documents which you want to use outside of the Czech Republic. Okay, so let's now see if I have any questions. I don't have any questions on YouTube, so still, I see that you are still watching me on YouTube, so thank you very much for that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now. Sorry, I need to drink a bit. And I'll now try to see if I have some questions on Facebook. So I'll show you myself, at least you see me. So let's see if there were any questions. Nostrification, Theodora, nostrification cost me 3,000 crowns this year. Yes, that's correct, but that mainly applies to, or only applies to, a nostrification of university diploma. The high school diploma should still be 1,000 crowns. And there are no further questions there either. So guys, if you don't have any questions, I don't think I will be doing the weird dance today. Let me see if I can switch cameras. Okay, I can do that. Perfect. Okay, so you can at least see me like this and not through the laptop. So anyways, guys, if you don't have any further questions, thank you very much for watching. And obviously get in touch if you have any question, or if you, there is one question. Okay. Min, hi, Jan. I got a baby here in the Czech Republic, still in first year. So I applied for the extension, which has taken more than 60 days. I still have an ongoing application for family reunification, as we did our wedding here. Both me and my hubby are non-EU. Still, with the family visas has taken more than 60 days. Do you have any idea why it could be taking so long? Well, first, Min, I'm not really sure if you're talking about the baby or your own family reunification, because if you have a baby which was born in the Czech Republic, you also need to apply for a residence. What? Sorry, that was a hanger. I'll put it here. Sorry for that. So if you had a baby which was born in the Czech Republic, you need to apply for their residence permit officially within 60 days. Sometimes it's not possible because you first need to get the Czech birth certificate, then you need to get passport for the baby, and then only then you can apply for the residence permit. But you need to do it anyway. It's just it's a law, and if you don't apply for a residence permit for your child born in the Czech Republic, the ministry can even cancel your own visa or residence permit, because it's your duty to apply on behalf of your kid. So I recommend doing that anyway. Even if you don't have the passport, just send all the other documents to the ministry, send them a letter saying, yeah, I don't have the passport yet, and give me more time. And they will do that because they understand that it takes some time, especially during COVID. We had some people who waited for like 6, 7, 8 months for a passport to be issued. So that happens. If you're asking about yourself, you have a student visa and family reunification application ongoing for me. Yeah, in general, I did another video about that, another live stream and a short video on my TikTok and Instagram. The ministry generally is very slow, and they don't care about any legal deadlines. Okay, so if there is something, officially the law says that your application should be approved within 60 to 90 days. It doesn't mean that it will be approved in half a year, because the ministry doesn't care. It's the government. So what you will do if it's been taking longer, what you will do? You will sue them? Not really. I don't think so. So they don't care. I don't think that, like, from we have over 1,000 clients every year, still increasing, but roughly around 1,000 clients a year. And from those, I don't want to lie, I don't have any exact statistic, but how it feels is that like 80% of those applications are not done in the official process in time, because it's just the ministry, I don't know, they're just slow, they're understaffed, and they don't care anyway. So that the official deadline is 60 days doesn't really mean anything to them. Another thing is that it depends on where you applied, because, for example, if you applied through an embassy and you applied somewhere, say in India or Australia, somewhere like far away from the Czech Republic, the ministry doesn't really start working on your application until they receive the documents physically to the Czech Republic. And we had a case when it took them, the embassy, to deliver the documents to the Ministry of the Interior. It took them 1 month. So 1 month, the application was doing nothing. Nothing was happening with the application because it was somewhere on the way from Australia to the Czech Republic. So basically 1 month wasted for nothing, just waiting for the post to deliver it. So that's another reason that it also depends on where you applied. Another reason might be that if you submitted all the documents or not, and if they were like correct or incorrect, because obviously if they have some mistakes, first, the officer doesn't want to deal with that. If they need to check like a million things in your lease agreement because it's complicated, because it wasn't signed by the owner, but it was signed by someone based on the power of attorney who gave power of attorney to someone else, they need to investigate a lot, and they don't really like doing that. So they will put the application aside and forget about it. So what's possible is that your application is just land somewhere and no one really cares about it. So that's another thing. If you had all the documents like properly prepared, everything is easy, that usually helps the process. If not, then the ministry also, besides that they don't want to do it, they also need to send you an official letter. So someone needs to write the letter explaining what is wrong with your application. They need to give you some deadline. They need to physically mail it to you, so it takes some time to get it delivered. If you, for example, change your address and you haven't reported it to the ministry yet, they will send it to the old address where you no longer live. Sorry. So you'll actually never receive the letter, and then you might just find out that your visa was denied just because you've never received the letter because you live somewhere else. So there might be many reasons why your application is taking so long. But in general, if you've done everything properly, if you had all the documents, you're sure they were correct, you submitted it properly in time, in the branch where you're supposed to submit it, and it's still been taking too long, it's just because the ministry doesn't care and they can take as much time as they want. What you can do is that once they cross the legal deadline, so let's say for most cases, most types of visas or residence permits, they have 60 to 90 days to make the decision. So if they reach the 90 days, what you can do is that you send them a letter. And then you have two options. Either send them a polite letter saying, hey, I've submitted my application more than 90 days ago. What's going on? Please let me know the status. It doesn't have any legal, it's not strong at all. So it will not force them to do anything. But what happens is that they need to take this letter and physically put it in your folder. And that usually reminds them, okay, there is this folder, I forgot about it. Let's start checking it. Okay. So that usually kind of helps, because the officer who's making the decision might have forgotten about your file. And if you send the letter, they at least might get reminded about that. But it has no legal value, so doesn't really help, but it can bring attention back to the case. If you want something stronger, you can send an official complaint, and you send the complaint to a committee which is above the asylum and migration policy of the Ministry of the Interior. So it's basically like if you send a complaint to their boss, and their boss is very strict and they force them to make decisions soon. So that is really like a strong thing to do, and we do it for our clients as well. But we are very careful about that, because since you go behind someone's back and you complain about them, they often get angry and they will try to look for any small mistake you might have in the application, and they will try to deny it just because you pissed them off, because you complained about them to their bosses. So we only recommend it. We usually recommend, okay, send the polite letter. That will not hurt. It's fine. But sending the complaint letter, we only recommend it if it's been really taken too long, or if you really need to get the decision soon, or if you know that and especially if you know that everything was like 100% clear and correct in the application. Because if if you know that there were some mistakes or some potential problems and you poke the ministry and you complain about them, you can be sure that they will be looking for those problems and you will need to be able to sort them out. Okay, hopefully this was, sorry for the long explanation, but hopefully it was good enough. So guys, if you have some more questions, let me know. Thanks for the explanation. My pleasure. Hopefully that was helpful. That really the ministry just doesn't care. So sometimes we've had visas, like new applications, for example, for business visas or employee cards even, which were approved within 2 weeks some time ago. But we've had applications, for example, for the partnership visa, which has been ongoing for 2 years. So it very much, and we've tested this also. We had like 3 clients who applied for the same thing at the same time at the same branch of the ministry, providing the same documents because they had the same employer and they lived in the same apartment. Okay. And all 3 of them had completely different processes, just depending on the decision maker who was dealing with their case. So it often depends on the person who's making the decision and how efficient they are and how they slept that day or that night and how much complicated they want to make it to you and to themselves as well. I was thinking maybe it's because I have a baby and I'm a student here. Well, it depends as well on the application which you have. Generally, the student visas are kind of treated mildly. And many things which work for student applications do not really and would never work for any other type of application. I've seen like very messed up applications for student visas being approved. And if you had this messed up documents for any other type of visa, it would be denied immediately. But for students, there are exceptions. On the other hand, for example, the student branch in Hladkov, that's crazy. That's very slow. You cannot book an appointment, or you can book it like 3 months, 4 months in advance. You cannot walk in, so you cannot just take the number and wait in the line. So that might be one of the reasons as well. But even the applications are usually not decided at the branch where you apply for it. They are sent to somewhere else, so you cannot influence it. You cannot bribe anyone. So might not be the reason. But of course, more complicated your case is, for example, if you're a student and you're changing your purpose of stay, and at the same time you're applying for your child, and then maybe your spouse is also extending. Of course, it can complicate the process and it can make it a bit longer, the approval time. And especially if you're changing, I didn't understand if you are changing the purpose of your stay from student to family reunification, for example. But there are also some rules for changing the purpose of stay. So it's possible that you are not even allowed to change the purpose of stay. So for example, if you want to change your purpose of stay to business from whatever you have, you can only do it after 5 years of living in the Czech Republic or through the job seeker visa. But besides that, you cannot do that. So there are many rules for that. So it depends. It's very difficult to say if we didn't deal with your application. But in general, those all might be reasons for that. Okay, guys, thank you very much. It's been another long session, but thank you very much. I'm changing, even though I still had my student visa expire before my wedding. Yeah, so if you're changing the purpose of your stay, and you also had a wedding and you need to report those changes, and you had a child and you're applying for the child as well, then yes, it can all influence the process, because more complications you put to the ministry, to the application, obviously the less effort they will put into that, because they want to deal with easy cases, and if they need to, as I mentioned, if they need to investigate this and do first this and then that and ask about this and something is not clear, they will usually put it aside and will not really work on that. But as mentioned, wait for a bit, make sure that your address is real, that you have your name on the mailbox, and that any letter the ministry might send will be delivered to you. And if nothing is coming, then just wait. And once they reach the official deadline, which is usually 90 days, then you can send them one of the letters and kind of poke them if you're sure that everything was fine with the application. And if you need any help with that, let us know. Theodora, thank you as well. Thank you for watching. You're coming here all the time, which is great. Thank you for the support. So guys, if you don't follow me, I'm everywhere. Follow me on YouTube, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. I'm everywhere. So it shows me a lot of support, and it's really valuable for me if you follow me everywhere, if you comment, if you come to the live streams, because I see that it's that what I do is good. So thank you very much, and see you again Monday. I do these live streams every Monday and Thursday, so see you Monday again. Thank you. Bye bye, guys.